Guys, I kind of want to find this thing. Is this a foolish choice? Maybe. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, we'll just keep healing, right? And it's nice that these... Oh, you know what? Ice isn't effective against fire. I was thinking water. Well, we managed to get one of them out of the way right off the... Ah! Bad. That's not too bad. I can deal with these. Yo! Patrick just took that guy out on his own. These guys aren't nothing. So basically, how many times does 3 go into? I need to do this about 20 times to get... I can expect to have to get into about 20 battles to get this thing. Oh man, we're going on another PETEPLAYS the movie. Also, I gotta keep an eye on the clock because I have like stuff to do today. Oh man. No Josh in here. Okay. Ping! I haven't been doing a good job of keeping up with ping every time it happens, but no problem. Dude, 6,000? More black flan. Let's just keep healing. Yeah, let's just do that, because, ouch. Boy, those hit hard for being gelatinous. I can't, how fast would Jello have to be moving for it to hurt you? Like, substantially, not just like, oh, I got Jello in my face, but like, oh man. That Jello harmed me significantly. Whoop! Come on, menuing problems. It's my game. There it is. I mean, I guess this is a sort of... Man, this episode is kind of turned into a grinding episode. But I really want to find this WarMech. Because it's something that I've read about so many times. That I feel like I would be doing myself, and you, the viewer, a disservice if I went through this section of the game without trying to get it, you know? Goodbye. And... oof, honestly, the drawbacks are pretty significant. If I lose to the WarMech, which I don't know how possible that is. I didn't look up about its hit points or abilities. If I lose to the WarMech, I lose an hour 15 of gameplay. Like, basically as long as it's taken to get through this dungeon. That is not nothing. But I want to make it happen. I want to see this guy. Well, same thing here. And it's a little bit tedious to be using the rope so often since it's not as powerful as some other things. But I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so I don't want to use up my spell slots if I can help it. So that should get that elemental on the bottom. Junk. Ah! We're fine. Boom, got it all back. No problem. Okay. Ow! Get out of here. Great. Dude, 8,000? I mean, if nothing, I'm probably gonna have them all level up. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Probably gonna have them all level up. Before I get to Tiamat. So, you know, I can only get stronger. Like, I can't really get weaker. Oh, silenced. What? How are they ever gonna use their magic? Anyway. Might as well. Just to ensure our victory. Yeah, once I got these robes, it's kind of like easy mode 2.0. Like, because it's not the most powerful magic, but imagine being able to cast Fire 2 whenever you want with no penalties. Like, that's basically what I've got going on. Well, got some Dark Fighters. Just keep doing the thing. Pete plays the movie! Everybody started this game by healing themselves. Everybody's like, let's fight, but first, heal. Okay. Man, I want this. I have to have gotten into at least, man, I don't know, at least 10 or so battles by now, right? I don't want to mess with these losers. Oh, you know what? Darn. Whatever. I want this over with. I hate these guys. Oh. Wow, I can't. I was gonna say, I think Thor's hammer can cast Thundera. Yes, more leveling up. Can it? Let's check. Yeah, cast Thundera. I kind of, if I'm gonna be fighting a WarMech, I'm gonna want extra. Let's do it. You know, let's do it so we can start doing damage, because I can just heal with potions after every battle. Ooh, okay, we got hashtag that preemptive strike. And so we basically have twice as much free magic casting on all enemies, which rules. See ya, dude! That guy is ripped, though. Look at, he doesn't just have a 6-pack, he has like a 12-pack right there. That guy is getting hashtag gains. Ab gains. Is that a thing? Ab gains. That's dumb. I'm stupid. Oh, man. Somewhere, someday, there may be a person who's going to go through a bunch of these videos and find the dumbest things I've said. And, like, if I ever get famous, I just know... Because I've seen, like, famous Let's Players have, like, compilation videos that are like, with the craziest things. Or like every time they talk about a burp. And that could theoretically happen to me. And I don't think I've said anything that I like regret in terms of like, I don't think I've said anything offensive or like inappropriate. And if I did say something that was sort of like unknowingly like, oh no, I said this thing and I didn't understand that that was offensive or hurtful, then I would just say, like, I didn't, and that was wrong, and I should be better. Oh, I used the wrong thing! Ah, doggone it. Thrumbus. Okay, I used the wrong item. Later. But I know that there are so many things that fall in the category of what does that even mean? Like, what a silly thing. Hashtag ab gains is probably one of them. Oh, boy. No! It doesn't matter. First I thought I made a mistake. I hope it doesn't, like... there's nothing to reset. I was like, oh no, it's going to reset the counter. That's not how probability works. Oh, let's wreck these dudes. Force Hammer. Black Robe. I want this, and I want you to not have to watch all this and just, like, not be interested. So I would not be mad, faithful viewers, if you were to fast forward through this to a point where, like, I get to the WarMech. Or maybe I'll edit this in such a way that, like, because really I'm just grinding here. Maybe I'll cut out this middle section, make it like an extra grinding video, and then just skip straight to WarMech. Because I also have to fight Tiamat after this. Like, that's no Joshin. So, man, I hate these Flan. I hate them so much. They're just annoying to deal with. Because they've got, like, wildly high defense. Not gonna lie, these are okay sprites. I like... I think I might like the Flan sprites in FF4 better. I'm not sure. They're not quite as drippy and oozy, but I don't know. I gotta think about it. I gotta think about Flan. Oh, man. Okay, I got that hashtag preemptive strike. Which means I can get in... Excuse me. I can get in 2 attacks. Doesn't even matter! I can get in 2 attacks before they even... 2 magic attacks before they even do anything. Didn't even need both of them. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to make a grinding episode out of this. These guys are not strong. They only have like 200 hit points. This should take care of them. Yo, wrecked. Get out of here. I want the WarMech. I want to fight it now. It's air elemental. I don't like that. Please give me the bad guy that I want to fight. I want to see the super boss tonight. Okay. Honestly, I'm running out of things to talk about. Oh, man. Because it is... I learned... So I've been learning a lot about ADHD and, like, how it changes my life. And, like, how realizing now that is something that characterizes... I want to be careful, like... It is hard... Like, the idea of self-diagnosis is tricky, but it's also really important. Because there's a lot of people who do not have the kind of access that they need to get to a place where they can be diagnosed with something. Like, that requires access to healthcare. And in the case of ADHD and people who are on the autism spectrum, like, that requires a very specialized access. I take those two, one, because there's actually some research indicating that there's a relationship there and, like, how the brain works. But also because my understanding is that in the autism community, there's a lot of self-diagnosis and that is valid, right? Like, if you are a part of the autism community and, like, have genuinely, like, grappled with your experiences and things, and you say like, this has led me to the conclusion that I am on the spectrum, that they're like pretty welcoming of that for people who do that in good faith. There's a lot of that in the ADHD community as well, and one of the things that I've learned, because I have to like learn about it to try to understand myself and my experiences better, is that I saw this guy who's like, I don't remember what his credential. He's like a. Doggone. There we go. No, not that. Up, over. Okay. He's like a researcher, like a really well-respected researcher in the field of ADHD, and he says that like ADHD can be an attention disorder, but it's really an executive disorder, and that's something that I think people don't get about it, which is that like ADHD is not about, oh, I'm so hyper, or like, oh, I talk too much. It's an executive disorder in the sense that like I can't get my executive functions to order themselves properly. And one thing he was saying was that like as it comes as a result of this is more flan. That comes as a result of this is people with ADHD. He calls them like literally like time unaware or time blind. I'm trying to find using blind as like a description for things, for something other than like a person who can't see. I did it again. I used confused instead of the rogue. Is like dicey, but he says like they're time blind, right? It is incredibly difficult for people with ADHD to see and imagine and order future events, and that is a result of executive deficits. All that to say, I got on this tangent for a reason, and I remember it. One of the things that people with ADHD really struggle with, and this is it as a result of it being an executive disorder, is we have all this information. Many people with ADHD are great learners. They tend to be very high achievers in certain kinds of ways, or at least very good at like lots of weird, cool, specialized knowledges, right? And even just average information that you would need to know. We have all this information. It is a problem of enacting the information. Performing the execution of, I'm pointing back here, because he was using the image of like these lobes versus these lobes. Saying like, look, everything is back here in this lobe. The problem isn't I have a learning deficit, which most people with ADHD do not have. The problem is I have a deficit in executing, pulling the information from my learning to my having it in front of me. And that's the difficulty. And that's why a lot of times I think there's problems with the diagnostic model as it's traditionally been in the old DSM and the way that people continue to kind of know it from talking about ADHD and ADD, which that's not a thing anymore. Even though there are people still with the diagnosis, but they don't diagnose people with ADD anymore. It's just everything is lumped under ADHD. Man! I want the bad guy! Can you imagine wandering... This is a side note. Can you imagine wandering through a corridor just being like, hey, giant robot, here I am, please attack me, and having to spend like an hour doing it? Oh, anyway. That guy's gone. What? Fire? Oh, you know what I haven't done in a while is healed. I should do that. I should buy a boat. Oh, crumbs. Now I did a thing where... Anyway. The old diagnostic model is... I don't want to say old. It's not like old versus new. There is a diagnostic model that is... We need to look for deficits in learning. I want two more. And that is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is going to show us that this person has the characteristics. And the problem with that is there are a lot of people who are quote unquote too smart to be. That's what, like, I'll be completely transparent. Something that was really frustrating about when I went in to get tested was one of the results of my test was basically you do not have enough learning deficits to have ADHD. And that's frustrating because I'm reading all of these researchers and I'm listening to all of these thinkers who are saying that's not what it's about. You do not need to demonstrate a learning deficit to have ADHD. Because what is measured as a learning deficit, like, you could be like, oh, this person is like too smart. That person could be really smart, but they're not having problems learning things. They're having problems like executing, right? I'm not on time, or the only way that I can protect myself from not being on time is to be in a constant state of anxiety. This is a problem that a lot of people with ADHD have, and why people with ADHD have comorbid anxiety, because a way to cope with it is I will keep myself hypervigilant constantly. That's why it's so exhausting to have ADHD. Because if you are coping, if you are making it through well enough to kind of function halfway well in the world, one way that you can do that is by making yourself anxious, making yourself hypervigilant all the time. Because if you're not, we've learned, if I'm not constantly vigilant, I will make a mistake. I will let somebody down. I will embarrass myself. I will have negative consequences. Dude, I'm glad they missed me with Mind Blast. I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. So I'm going to basically like whip myself up into constant anxiety to just be like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? And that keeps me from getting sort of lost in my mind in a way that like is comfortable to me because it's how my mind works. One thing I am learning that I really love about PETEPLAYS is I don't have to do that like anxiety making while I'm playing, because I just talk stream of consciousness, and sometimes I'll sort of become aware of myself and be like, oh no, I did a weird blah, 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 right? But often I'm just talking about whatever comes to the top of my head, and that is so comfortable. And reflecting on this, it makes me think that that's part of why PETEPLAYS has been so good for my mental health, which is it gives me a space where I can just talk about stuff and I don't have to police my mind with my anxiety. That is a good feeling, and that is a healthy thing for me. And the places where I feel safest are the places where I don't have to police myself. In that way of not just like, I'm not gonna be an idiot, I'm not gonna like use that as an excuse to do silly or foolish or hurtful things, but like my impulses are to like talk about weird information that I find fascinating, or to tell stories. I'm constantly telling stories to the point where like I repeat a lot of them, because to me the telling of the story is the interesting part. And you can get a lot of joy. This is why I listen to like stand-up comedy routines over and over and over, because I just like hearing the story. It's not that, oh, the punchline isn't new. I love the story. But sometimes like I get nervous with people who are my friends or people who are close to me that aren't like the closest people, because I think, oh no, have I told this story already? Are they annoyed with me? Do they hate me? Like, do they tolerate me because I tell silly stories all the time and they've heard it and it's not interesting to them? Like that is something that I don't have to worry about with my closest buds and on this show, because my closest buds watch this and not too many more people. And also, who cares, right? I'm not doing PETEPLAYS for anybody but me, and by extension, the handful of people who like watch it and talk about it with me. These Naga are a lot beefier than I realized. We're almost to another level for all these fools, and what I'm gonna have to do here in a minute is check to see if they removed, because I had to have done at least 35 battles. Check to see if the WarMech is in the remake. I can't imagine they would have gotten rid of it, right? I cannot imagine they would have gotten rid of it. That would be so wild to me. That, like, one of the coolest parts of the original game, this sort of, like, maybe not hidden, but sort of, like, thing that has such, like, importance to the community of people who are really interested in this game. Like, oh yeah, the WarMech, that's a cool thing, you gotta do that. In the same way that, like, there's sort of a badge of honor of beating, like, the weapons in FF7, right? Oh, man. These guys made it through. No joshing. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of healing here in a minute. Dude, Tori just did 210 damage. Yes. Okay, one more battle and everyone will have leveled up. And then I will look on the internet to see if I am spinning my wheels here. He peaced out. He didn't want anything to do with it. Sorry, later, man. Blaze. Blaze, more like I'm not even phased. Got it. Peace. Okay. Alright. Level up for Tori. Rock on. Okay. Is the WarMech in Final Fantasy Remaster? Oh, I spelled WarMech. No! I spelled it right! WarMech! I also spelled Final Fibel. Oh no. I spent 2 hours trying to run into the WarMech, and by that point I was so overleveled that he wasn't even fun to fight. Aw, man. WarMech is to... Oh, wait, no. This isn't the remaster. This is the Dawn of Souls version. Which is old. Let's open this in the app. Boy, exciting! Pete plays content! He's on his phone! Not gonna bother, but I had an incident when I played Origins. It took a while, but I ran into him on the walkway. I spent at least 4 hours before Tiamat. I'm gonna reach level 99 before I encounter it. Oh, man. Ooh, there's a guide about how to spawn the WarMech in the Pixel remaster. Oh, dear. Shh, be quiet. Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch this and pause the video. Ugh, I'm pretty cheesed. There was a video that was like, here's how to do it. And then the video was just, hey, just walk around and get lucky. I'm like, that's not a how-to. That is a, like, you gave me all the information. I was thinking that it was going to be one of those, like, oh, you can manipulate the RNG by, like, moving in certain ways, which is definitely a thing. But that wasn't it. So what I'm probably going to do is call the grinding here. And this is my sort of like grinding episode within an episode. It's an episode within an episode. Whoa! So this is going to feel weird, but I'm actually going to sign off and then keep going and then sign off again when I'm done. Because I don't know about you, but I spent way more time on this morning than I was anticipating, and I actually have things to do before I have a meeting. I did not mean to spend 2 hours playing Final Fantasy this morning, but let's do it anyway. This was just a grinding episode. I guess I'll just throw it out there because we had some fun things to talk about. But we'll see you next time on PETEPLAYS. Bye, guys.